upset at the irresponsibility. So, my wife's a part-time therapist, we have a few kids. I pretended to contact her via WhatsApp with a different cell phone as a male client who's rich and hunk and funny, pics of some random hunk of the net. So I flirted like crazy, and now she's obsessed to speaking to this guy, who is actually me typing, and she is telling me she's doing it for fun and that she's doing it as our crap fantasy we speak about, that it will turn us both on. But she doesn't know that it's me. She on the phone messaging 24/7. Dirty texting now full on, sending pictures not nude but defiantly attractive ones. She says he's funny and he reminds her of me. I've managed to find out that she slept with a married man before she married me, which I had no news about. I thought she was a virgin. That made me so angry. I got the info out of her. This has totally messed up my head, because now I can see how she lies to me when she denies she on the phone. Previously she had never lied about anything in our marriage. She was pretty honest and trustworthy. She's becoming very good at lying. I'm messaging her on the phone as him, and I can watch her lick her lips and her toes curling as she's clearly getting aroused whilst I'm on the other chair. I ask her, what you doing? She says, oh nothing, some soccer mom sent her a joke. I won't ever confess it's me, as I'm going to suddenly disappear and leave her high and dry. She deserves it. But I fear she will miss this illicit relationship. She won't be able to live with the mundane marriage we have anymore. She says to him, me, she's always turned on. She had zero drive before with me. Now she's happy like all the time when she texts him. Do you think she is cheating with me? I threatened to her and I said I'd call him and say leave her alone. She even admitted to the guy, me, she's still married but separated, but she just having fun. We've had a crappy marriage past few years and it has become stale. She wants excitement as I do. So, when I said I'm going to call him or I want you to stop, this fantasy has gone on too far. I'm not happy. She literally tries to persuade me to carry on. Oh, please honey, it's just a bit of fun. I'll tell you everything that goes on. She then dresses up and tries to seduce me. She's so desperate to keep him. I gave the green light initially to talk as little turn on, but never did I think her actual conscience would allow it to develop into this. I've let this carry on, seeing how far she will take it. She's a bored housewife that's just been swept off her feet. Who knows what the aftermath of this will be? I'm not sure. I made me clear I fulfilled this fantasy by getting a new cell phone, a new number, took some random person's pictures and messaged her as a prospective client. She told me about it and I encouraged her to speak to him. Obviously, it's me all along. She's always physically charged because of the excitement that she thinks she's speaking to this random hunk stranger. She's now keeping things and lying about who she's on the phone with. All along it's me anyway. So now I know she's capable of lying to keep her fling going. She keeps blaming me, saying it's my fault as I encouraged it anyway. I wanted to have some fun with a fantasy and see, and now she's addicted to it. She's almost falling for him. I admit I've put on the full charm offensive. I think the whole situation's backfired. She has now fallen in love with this person on text, even though it's really me. She even told her sister about it a few days ago. I can't believe she has gone behind my back. She denies it's an emotional thing. I specifically said it was just meant to be physical in nature, some mild flirtation. Now we aren't talking because I kept accusing out of having an affair even though I didn't have proof. Now I have proof. I feel like threatening her by going to her family, but I know she doesn't like threats, and she really became quite vicious towards me, saying she wants this marriage to be over. We have been having serious marriage difficulties past few years, and now recent it's been good, but I think it's just mainly a reason for her to carry on talking to this guy without me objecting. She wants to speak to the person on text and meet them, that I am making excuses. She has completely become besotted over the person on text. Remember, for those who haven't read my initial post, it means pretending to be someone else, putting on a full charm offensive. Now I have no trust for her. She is now capable of having an affair. I know. I don't want my marriage to be over. I know I could just quickly put all this to bed in the few weeks she would come back to me. But I feel I should now use the screenshots of our conversation to my advantage, perhaps in the future. I wonder if me having this control over her will benefit me in the long term. It's like she knows I have this evidence, so she behaves herself. Or she could just say I don't care, but really how world will crumble if I expose it all. All the messages she sent are very physical, very emotional, lots of nude pictures. Remember, he was just me all along, but to the rest of the world it appears as though she's having an online affair. I'm really angry. She has gone to a sister for advice. She wants to leave me, but she doesn't know how to. Her sister is obviously telling her to meet him first. She has told the person on text that she still lives with her husband, but they aren't talking, and she wants to get out, but she can't because she is trapped. I will message her, possibly saying, I can't believe what has just happened. Your husband has just messaged me and you have used me for some fantasy. And I have given him screenshots of all our conversation. Either she comes to me full of remorse or she harbors guilt because I broke up her love affair. I told her to stop talking to this guy. I am not enjoying this anymore. She is saying you pushed me into this. I was like, that's irrelevant. You're getting too obsessive, and spending all night messaging him. And she was like, I don't care. It's just fun. It's nothing serious anymore. It's just jokes and harmless conversation like a friend. We had a huge row yesterday saying she doesn't care anymore. She doesn't love me. She wants out. I said, you're not going anywhere. She has apparently stopped messaging him, but she still carried on last night. with me. I know all of you are thinking this is such a crazy messed up situation, childish and immature. Putting the judgment aside, what should my next move be? I really feel like using the situation to my advantage. I can't help but want to use this to control her so she is passive and amenable and not so aggressive towards me, which I don't like. I know you're probably going to say being a dictator isn't the best thing. Someone should want to do it from their own volition. Initially it was just a fantasy. I thought it was harmless. I think she did it initially to please me and make me happy, but she started to enjoy it, and I admit I got a kick out of it. Obviously, it was me texting, but now almost a month has passed and it's pretty pointless now. I don't get anything out of it. There is no benefit. It's just her messaging behind my back and in secret, but not telling me anything about it, deleting the messages. I thought I'd test her with the idea of leaving the family and running away with me. I would take her kids and give her an amazing life, and she fell for it hook, line, and sinker. I find it astonishing how easily someone can crave something and just abandon a marriage, even though the marriage has been in such an awful state recently. If I expose her, all hell will break loose. I'm not sure on my next move. It really makes me sick and angry that she keeps running to her family to complain about me. I can't handle that. Comment: you are stealing from your wife, taking away gifts from her that you should be providing. Your behavior has been reprehensible. It was not casual. It was benefits to her disadvantage. Your wife was not seeking this out. You tempted her, and eventually, she failed. She set out chocolate and sweets all through the house, her car, everywhere you could, hoping she would like it a little, but not a lot. Well, she failed. She liked it a lot, and now she doesn't want to give it up. I don't think you quite get it yet. No matter what you do, no matter how it ends, your wife has been damaged significantly. You now believe your wife is untrustworthy, and having an affair is based solely upon opportunity. She can't resist if a guy knows all the right buttons to push. You knew the right buttons. Also, now your wife has realized there is a better man out there. The fact that it's not true doesn't matter all that much. The perception is what will govern her behavior. She wants to be in love, and that type of strong feeling very likely won't ever come back in your marriage ever again. Not because you just did what you did, but because I have never seen a long-term marriage be able to have the same in-love infatuation, feeling alive energy as a new love, before you haven't figured out that the other person has big faults too. Now your wife is wanting that. This guy may go away, that feeling will not, or at least not easily, and maybe it will fade, but maybe never completely. The other thing about cheating and lying, which you are doing as well as your wife, is that there is a risk of it being found out or caught. You could get caught, too. If I put myself in your wife's place, I do see that your wife has failed. She cheated. But also, in her point of view, I see a spouse who is a bit unhinged. Not normal. I'm not a psychologist or psychiatrist, but I'm basing it on my observations and experiences in my life. I think about my mom or my sisters. What if my dad did to my mom what you did to your wife? Well, I love my dad. I'd want to see his side of it. But to be honest, I'd be very hard-pressed. What if my sisters' husbands did such a thing to them? To be honest, I'd want to pound them, and I'd probably advise my sisters to get the heck out of there pronto. Your husband has gone off the rails. Get the kids away from him, and don't let them see him again until he gets a psychiatric evaluation. So perhaps you and I see it very differently. Maybe you understand how in control you are, and to me, you look like you have completely become unhinged. You've destroyed your own life. You have some deep-seated desires. You gave into it. In my opinion, your behavior has been worse than your wife's behavior. I don't defend her cheating. So, to give you some suggestions, given that you have very strong feelings about this, you are somewhat sure of yourself as to the range of actions you're willing to perform. 1. Just tell her the truth and go where it goes. This maybe involves intermediaries to help you alone, her alone, and the both of you together. You have to admit your wrongdoing, your lies, and accept your accountability. If I read you right, this is not something you will do. What you want to do is hide it, save some evidence, and use it against her at some point in the future. 2. I've been thinking this as I've been writing, and I don't want to give any other suggestions to help you use your wife in the future while you insulate yourself from accountability. 3. It seems you have decided to stay married, but without love on your end, and now without love on her end. At the least, your opinion of love is different than mine. OP responds, I think my plan is to message her with another number saying it's his wife, and that he was just playing her and wanted naked pics and it was just a kick for him. In fact, I'll send her a pic of some guy that looks like a meth head and lives of food stamps. I think this will make her realize that she was played all along and remove and hope she has of wanting to find someone else, and hopefully make her realize how stupid she was. I'm just debating if I should message her saying your husband has been in touch and I've sent him screenshots of our conversation. I wonder if she will hate me for doing that even though she has said she doesn't care. I really want her to know I've seen all the messages and that I have them. I think I need to stop feeding these twisted, perverse fantasies. Yes, I know I am unhinged. I've got some serious issues. God help me. I can't believe she just cheated so easily. I'm so upset. Why would she so easily want to abandon this family and kids? What for? So, what if there's temptations? She got sucked in so badly. What's it like living with a partner who's been caught cheating? Anyone got any experiences? Who stayed? I know she's going to say it was just a text thing. Right now, I've pushed the conversation to the point where she's ready to walk out and move in with OM in his penthouse. All this without speaking. Man, she is so gullible. I will never admit to her sorry people. She sent dirty photos. She is terrified of me and what I will do if she gets caught somehow. But she won't give the my name. I plan to message her next week as the wife of the OM and tell her that she knows, and she will expose her to me for cheating on him, as she has somehow tracked my details down. We've had a crappy marriage and we haven't talked for months on end many times. Physical life is awful, I just want it with no emotion, there's no love or affection. But we have children, and to be honest, I don't envisage ever having a divorce because I'm happy with the way things are. House, job, routine, don't get me wrong. I'd love to be in a loving relationship, but I don't think it will be with her ever again, not just because of this online infidelity, purely because we've drifted apart over the years and it's become more of a business relationship raising these children. She's starved of emotion and love, she keeps asking me for it, and I thought her off saying I don't do it. I think I'm definitely narcissistic. I do like to control her, but not in a mean way, I just like to be in control. I also want to ensure that she knows that this person that she has been messaging was a fake and wasn't some highly attractive type, but really was a loser who were having a fun time at her pictures. Any self-confidence she built and believed that she could build a better life elsewhere without me will be destroyed. So, she is forced to stay in this marriage. I know you're thinking I'm so narcissistic psycho, but it's my marriage and it's been like this for over a decade. Spare the judgment, please. Bottom line is she has cheated on me. She succumbed to temptation. What I've learned is doormat isn't for me. There's too much of a risk of emotions. She said to me she would only do it if she enjoyed it, and I was like, no, it's only meant to be a one-off thing and purely physical. She said, how will that work? You want me to do something without enjoying it? You want me to be dragged to the altar? I guess it makes sense. She's not some skank who will just sleep with anybody for just me. She has to obviously be romantically involved. I get that now, so goodbye to that ridiculous fantasy. I just wish I'd never fostered it in my head. Guys, I'm so angry. She has spoken to her sister and she has advised her. I'm offended that it's almost as if they are conspiring against me. Do I sound like an egotistical maniac? Thoughts for the day over. I plan to do the big reveal soon. My comment: your situation is such a mess. You said that you have drifted apart for years and she is starved for affection and love, yet you won't give that to her. You are both liars also. When you started this test, what did you plan to do if she took the bait? Do you love her at all? Also, it looks like you put thought and attention into this false texting relationship. Do you put that same level of attention into your real relationship with her? Do you think she might be very lonely? If I were you, and you two haven't been getting along for a while, I would attempt to be nicer to her and say that you want to work on feeling closer again. Then see if she says anything or changes her attitude toward the OM. I definitely believe honesty is best, and I can't imagine playing these games. As far as her willingness through her text to move out with this guy she has never spoken to, I wouldn't be so quick to assume she is that gullible. She might be thinking that this guy is really forward, perhaps too forward, but she feels safe behind a computer screen, and she is just enjoying the conversation and attention but not actually want to meet him in person. Story 2. I've been married for almost 9 years, together for 11. Ever since my husband and I got married in November 14th, there has always been a major life factor in our life, and I'll explain. When we got back from our honeymoon, we found out I had cancer, remission for 8 years now, and the chances of us having kids were slim to none. During my recovery of the cancer, our dog was diagnosed with cancer as well. We bought a house, moved into the house, had to have our dog put to sleep because of his illness, and my best friend passed away from cancer. This happened all within 9 months of being married. We finally found out I was pregnant and had a baby in September 16th. I had a hard time dealing with my best friend's passing, and my husband would beg me to get help, but I never would. We had our share of ups and downs, but we always managed to stay together. I finally ended up going to see a counselor for being depressed about my best friend. Now fast forward to July of 2022. My husband wanted a separation. He left July 27, 2022. He was so hard on our son at the time, but he managed so well, did excellent in school, and was always happy. Me, I was devastated. I didn't want the separation, although I knew things weren't right. He eventually came home June 7th this year, and a few days ago told me he wanted a divorce and he didn't love me like he did before. We told our son last night, who is heartbroken. We explained everything we should have to him, that he is loved more than anything. He will have 2 happy homes and we will always be there for him. It is killing me to see him cry and asking questions, and I am doing the best I can for him. My husband is the best dad and will always be in our son's life. I guess I am just looking for someone else who has been in my shoes and can shed some light for me. I am hanging on by a string and I'm afraid it's going to snap. I have a great support system from my parents and my best friend and some other friends, so I thank God for that. I never thought in a million years I would be in this position. I love my husband so much and don't want this to happen, but I know I can't make someone love me, and I know I need to focus on our son. I don't even know what to do with myself. I absolutely hated when our son was with his dad during our separation, and now with him leaving for good is just going to be worse when our son isn't with me. I have been seeing an IC for almost 2 years, but she was on medical leave over the summer. Thankfully I have an apt on Sept 11 which I really need. Looks like we are in the same boat, one that is sinking. I know, but it is just so hard. I struggle every minute of every day. I can't eat, sleep. I am putting up a good front when I'm with our son, but he knows how upset I am and he has been nothing but astonishing through this. I just want this sick heartache to go away. I thought we could get through anything together. I don't even want to think about a future without him. I would have done anything for him and for our marriage. I tried to tell him before that I didn't start counseling soon because I wasn't ready at the time. I explained it to him as an alcoholic needing treatment but doesn't know to get it until he hits rock bottom. I wish I would have done things differently and wouldn't have taken advantage of his love and support. Thank God he is a great dad. I talked to the H last night about our son's schedule and I started to ask him a question, then I said forget it, it doesn't matter anymore. Then we hung up. My H called back about 5 minutes later and asked what I wanted to ask him, so I said that it seems like this is easy for him and he's handling things good. He got upset and said that all he has been doing is crying and this is just as hard on him as it is me. I'm not sure I believe it, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I just wonder how someone's feelings can change in the blink of an eye. When he came home in June, after our separation, he said he is only coming home if he is positive that he never leaves again because it will kill him to leave me and our son. Now after 3 months he decides he doesn't love me anymore. He says he thought he was doing the right thing coming home. What the hell? I don't get it. We just took our son to his first day of school, and along with the emotions of my baby growing up, I have to deal with this situation. My H came to our house and literally knocked on the door. I was just shocked. I keep praying to God, and I'm not very religious, that he will wake up and realize that he made a mistake. It was so awkward at the school. Our neighbors were there that know the situation, who we are great friends with, and they barely spoke to my H. I just want to wake up from this nightmare. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. My H got a lawyer. He wants to use the same lawyer to make costs less. I'm not sure what to do. My parents say I am getting my own lawyer. I just don't know what to do about anything. It's so hard to get out of bed anymore. I can't wait until I see my son after work though. He is what gets me through the day. When is this pain and despair going to end? I am going to talk to a lawyer to see what my options are. It's not like we have money or anything, but my parents think I need to protect myself and our son. My son and I are always playing something. Basketball, football, going to the park, so that does keep me happy and busy. But when I am not with him, it's gut-wrenching. I just wish I could see a light at the end of the tunnel. I wish my H would change his mind. Jesus, I sound so pathetic. We had a meet the teacher night at our son's school last night. I went with my neighbor while my H went on his own. We really didn't say much to each other except a few exchanges regarding our son. When I got home, my dad was watching our S and I walked in on him crying because he missed me and misses his dad. He told my dad he just wants his parents to be together. It made my dad cry after he left. I just want to take our son's pain away. I would gladly endure this pain for the rest of my life just so he would never feel like this again. My son called his dad and talked to him, which made him feel better. I talked to my H after and told him what I came home to, and I could tell my H started crying. Sometimes I get a glimmer of hope that he's going to change his mind and come home, only to come to work and get an email that he is not. I wish nobody ever had to go through this pain, as it is unbearable. Our son will be with my H this weekend, but I will be able to see him tomorrow at hockey. But then he'll be seeing his cousin tomorrow. So, it will be a lonely weekend for me. I am going to a friend's house to cry it out tonight and a different friend tomorrow, so that is something I am looking forward to. 1 minute at a time, I guess. It was hard being at hockey and seeing my husband and trying to be cordial. The H was nice to me, however. I did go to a friend's house Friday night and had a good cry and a few laughs. Saturday night I also went to another friend's house and did the same thing. Talked to a friend who is going through a similar situation as me. I'm going to talk to a lawyer today for advice. My H got so furious with me last night because of this. I originally agreed to use the same lawyer, but everyone I talked to tell me to get my own for my own protection. I do not know the man now who my H is. The way he can speak to me is like listening to a stranger. I still don't understand how things can change like they have. I'm still trying to wake up from this nightmare. The nightmare is clearer than ever. I met with a lawyer yesterday to find out my options. Thankfully, this isn't going to be a nasty divorce, but just the thought makes me sick. I thought I was going to vomit when I was talking to the lawyer. She was really nice though, and I felt comfortable with her. My H called last night to ask if he could come and get some of his things today while our son is at school. I know when I come home and see the empty closet and drawers, it's going to hit again like a ton of bricks. It would be easier if I could hate him and shut my feelings off. But I can't, and I'm going to have to see him often because of our son. I have my suspicions. He started a sales job back in April and has brought no income, and since I've dipped into my retirement and my income are paying bills barely. I told my H that I was going to file and he agreed. After he had told me he already paid to file. Just another lie. I'm waiting to talk to him tonight so I can exactly find out what his plan of support is going to be. Then I will be contacting my lawyer. I have battled my depression and won after 2 years of counseling. I am devastated by my husband leaving me, and yes, I am crying a lot, but who wouldn't be? I am still in counseling, appointment tonight, and I am on meds as well. I can get out of bed every day and I do not call into work like I had done when the depression first started. When he came home in June, he wasn't the same. He didn't try to see if the spark was still there. Unfortunately, where I am at, I cannot find any meeting groups. I do have my friends and family like I said, and the IC will help. I know my main priority is my awesome son and his happiness. I live for my boy and I will continue to push through this. Although it is hard, I just got a call from my attorney and she told me that my H's attorney contacted her. My attorney knows and has done cases with my H's, and she explained to him that I just want to make sure me and my son are protected. The other attorney wanted to verify custody issues, that it will be joint custody. I will make sure our son is 50-50, but in order to protect myself with the child support I need to file primary custody. I'm afraid my H is going to come unglued and then it will turn into something ugly. I just needed to get this off my chest. What a long weekend without my son. My STBX took him to the Michigan football game and my boy had such a great time. It was so nice to hear the excitement in his voice. I cannot wait to pick my son up after work today. I've missed him every second since he has been with his dad. I'm expecting a call from my lawyer to go there to sign the papers since my husband has filed for divorce. It just seems so unreal. I don't know how I'm going to handle this. I broke down at my parents' house last night. They are giving me good advice, but I feel like I'm still in the mourning stage. I should be getting a call from my lawyer today or tomorrow to tell me that my husband did file. This just makes it more real. My STBX is going to file for joint custody, but everyone I know is telling me I need to have primary custody for financial reasons only. My STBX and I will be able to amicably make a fair 50-50 schedule for our son, but my STBX is going to come back with "You think I'm going to screw you." I just wish this was over and done with already. Just talked to my lawyer and I go Thursday morning to review the complaint, counter-complaint, blah blah, sign papers, blah blah. I just wish my STBX and I were both how we were when we were first together and then for years after. We had such a great life. I still feel like I've let my son down, but he is such a trooper and is doing so well. I will carry that guilt for the rest of my life. What a restless night. I was up thinking of all the what ifs. Why didn't I going to be a long day? I just don't know who the man I've loved since the very first time I shook his hand 11 years ago is anymore, and it breaks my heart. I know I went through a lot of things, but I have changed and I feel it is even for the better. My STBX has even said that. Tomorrow I'm having a small birthday party for my son. The first one in 7 years his dad won't be at. It's just going to be so depressing, but I will only be focusing on my son. Lawyer appointment has been changed to Friday morning to go over everything. I'm so scared, nervous and sick. I have no idea what I'm going into. I'm glad I see my IC tonight, as there are some things I need to vent about. I really like coming here though and reading through the different threads and trying to follow others' advice. Everything was not great in our marriage and I know it in my heart. There were times where I did threaten divorce because of things he did, but I never meant it. I wish he would have followed through with the MC and his IC. He said it wouldn't help him. My 99 has helped me so much. She has been a godsend. And I believe I have become a better mother to my son in the last 2 years. I had the worst conversation with my STBX last night. He sent a text that said, "We need to talk," and I text back about what? Well, he called me and was so rude to me, so I gave the attitude back, and he goes off saying how my text message was so rude, and I'm rude in every text or conversation we have. Maybe I am, but hello. You left me twice. He thinks I'm supposed to have this friendly attitude towards him, but I can't. I do not say much to him when our son is around, but saying nothing is better than what I would like to say. Needless to say, he was yelling at me, I was yelling at him, and I of course got upset and started crying. He thinks that I blame him for everything when in fact that is the total opposite. I have talked with my IC stating I blame myself for the majority of what has happened. But I also know my STBX is at fault as well, and he has said it's partly his fault, but he won't say what he has done wrong. He ended up telling me to X off and saying, "We'll just go through our lawyers for everything now," and click, he hung up. I did send him a text shortly after saying, "You have issues. You should get help yourself. You are an angry, bitter person." So, he calls back, I don't answer. Called 3 more times, I don't answer. Then he sends a text, "Answer the phone." My response, "No. I'm not arguing with you. I'm going to bed." His next text, "Please answer the phone." So, he calls and I answer. He starts being nice and saying he was just trying to talk about X, and I always have an attitude. Things got heated once again, him saying hurtful things like "I don't care what you do anymore." And in the end, he says X off and click, hangs up again. I just can't take any more of this. He is such a different person, and seeing him like this is horrible. What happened to him? On a good note, my son's 7th B-day is today and I get to spend it with him after school. I met with the lawyer this morning, and as gut-wrenching as it was, I have a little peace of mind. My STBX filed for joint custody, to which I agreed, but I'm seeking child support of course. I have been the sole income provider since the middle of March, so he does owe me something. All he has done was cash in a 24/0 pension fund. I just want this whole process to be over with. Although I am sad and still heartbroken, I am having feelings of anger now towards my STBX. Things keep popping up in my head of past comments and actions by him that infuriate me. I also have about 7 pages of a journal I started the first time we separated. I think I need to read that and see if there is a pattern of his actions, and I know I did write some angry thing about him. Maybe that will help me. This whole time since my H said he wanted a divorce, I have not begged him to come home or anything. The other day I was on the phone with him and asked him if divorce is what he really wants, and he paused for about 10 seconds, said I don't know, another pause, and said yeah, I guess. I let him go right after that. I did send a text about not going through with this, and we have already gone through more than what most couples go through in a lifetime, and we got through all those things. His reply back was that he couldn't talk because he was in a work meeting. I sent another text yesterday asking him if I was crazy to think he won't go through with the divorce and we have a history and took vows. His reply was I'm not overly happy with the friend of the court date we have. We can talk tomorrow. Am I crazy to think he won't go through with this, or am I holding on to false hope? My comment, you can hope for the best and prepare for the worst. But honestly, do you want to get your hopes up just to have them squashed? I went through this stage because every time I thought that it was over, my pastor friend was pointing out things and giving me false hope. Looking back on it, I think it would have been much easier to come to the resolve that it was over with. Makes sense. If I were in your shoes, I wouldn't badger him with texts. Give him his space, do not appear needy. If you really want to get him thinking about this, be counterintuitive, act like you're okay with breakup. When he calls, tell him you're busy right now, but it was nice to hear from him. Do this for a month and then he will start questioning what's up with her, and he will start questioning divorce, and we'll see what life is without you, which he needs to feel. Maybe the light bulb will come on, maybe it won't.